And then a stripper came out of the back room, and she had a little stab wound. And not even like a little stab wound scar. Like she had that like Band-Aid, that little maxi pad Band-Aid. And she was like, hey baby, wanna dance? Like, I can't get a dance from this. What if I start enjoying it? What if I forget that she has this little stab wound, and then my finger just goes. This is good. You guys are gonna say nasty things about me after this show.
You're good, you're good.
Nah, because if my finger penetrates this lady, I'm gonna tell all my friends that I penetrated a stripper, but not in the fun way. Oh man, any of you guys married in here? A lot of dudes that sneak out to go to strip clubs, I see. All right. No man, I don't get it. I don't get why you guys still do it. I looked into it, divorce rates, 51%. One of my friends, like I'm at the age now that a lot of my friends are getting married, and they invite me to weddings, and I tell all of them, I'm not going. Don't inconvenience me with your love, it's dumb. Like one of my friends, she was like, hey, I'm getting married next weekend. Don't forget to bring a gift. I'm like, first of all, just for that, I hope you get divorced. And it was like in the middle of football season. I was like, I have a 56-inch TV now. I'm gonna stay home and watch that instead of two losers. Whatever, I don't care. Oh man, I think I've been deciding if I wanted to quit my job or not, to be honest. These people are crazy. Like the first day I started my job, I knew these people were not for me. Like my coworker walked in and he saw me sitting at my desk and he peeked around, he peeked around the corner and he was like, peekaboo, I see you. I was like, oh man, that's definitely gonna be the last thing I hear before the gun goes off, isn't it?
It's not Sammy.
This is gonna be such a divisive joke, I already know it.
This is the opening line.
But fuck it, we're here now. Like, I don't know if any of you guys hate your job, but one of my coworkers told on me. He told my boss that I do stand-up comedy, and my boss pulled me into the office and he was like, hey, if you had to choose between this job or stand-up comedy, what would you choose? Like, anything other than this. This job sucks. I never leave stand-up comedy and have to go find a bucket of chicken tenders to stuff down my emotions. Anyway. Oh man. I've been trying to travel a lot recently. One of the places I started to travel, like a couple of years ago, one of my aunts passed away. And I went to her funeral, and instantly I realized, I don't like anybody in my family anymore. These people suck, they're terrible. Like, at my aunt's funeral, one of my cousins stood up during the service and he was like, no, God, why couldn't it be me? And I was like, yeah, why not you? You suck. You're a 36-year-old drug dealer with 6 roommates and a peanut allergy. We don't need you anymore. But one of the last conversations I had with my aunt was she was telling me I had to get out and travel more, and she was like, no, you gotta see the world. So one of the first places I went to was to visit one of my cousins in California. And he didn't tell me until I got to California that he lived in Compton, California. Like, I feel like that's a pre-flight conversation. So I get to California, he's driving me around, he's like, hey, by the way, I live in Compton, but don't worry, it's good over there. I was like, I don't know your hood politics, I don't know if they like you over there. And then I went, and I met the biggest black man I've ever seen in my entire life. And this black dude just head to toe in red, he was just like, hey, what up, blood, where are you from, blood? I was like, Hawaii? And he was like, they're not Samoan, I seen Moana. He's like, if you really from Hawaii, do the hula blood. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. He's like, nah, I'm on the set, do the hula blood. So I just made something up real quick. I was just like, aloha oi, aloha oi. I got to this little move, and this man's mom came outside and was like, hey Tyrell, stop fucking with this little retarded boy before I make it rain or something. Oh man. I'm so glad I'm gonna leave here and go visit my girlfriend, dude. If I was going home and just staring at a wall, I would end it. The silence is so crazy. Jesus Christ, I'm so glad I don't have to date anymore. Have any of you guys ever signed up for Tinder? Yeah. A couple of liars, I see. Nah, man, like if you've never signed up for Tinder, Tinder's just for hot people. Just for dudes with six packs and hot women, that's it.
Can you stop eating?
And I started swiping right on everybody. Like I even swiped right on the short girl, little T-Rex arms. Like how high could her standards be? Apparently a lot higher than me because we didn't match. I hate that girl, fuck her. Now you know what I can do that she can't do? Then I made the mistake of signing up for Hinge. Not any better. Just a bunch of teachers and accountants. I didn't realize that I was a big hit in the teacher community. But like the first date that I went on was this girl who was a witch. Should have been a red flag right there. Like any dude that like showed up to a date and was like, oh, what do you like to do for fun? It's like, yeah, you know, I'm a warlock. I just like to cast spells on my enemies. That's where every girl would stand up and be like, I'm good here.
Fireball.
Oh man. She had this thing about rocks. She was one of the witch rocks. She wasn't a rock wizard. I don't know. Whatever, you follow along, whatever.
Fireball.
She was into rocks. She couldn't wait to tell me about her little rock collection. And as a black man listening to a white woman talk about rocks, it's difficult. Because the last time black people were so excited about rocks, Reagan was still in office. And Whitney Houston was telling black people, crack is whack. Thanks to that one guy. Listen, I'm Nico Butler. You guys ready for your first comedy of the night? Everybody make some noise for Shai Sharma.
Hey, give it up for Nico. Cool, it's good to be here. You guys watched the debate? Yeah, oh my God. Fuck us, right? At least you guys live over here. In the mainland, we just have to deal with it. Can you imagine? Yeah, at least like as a brown man, I'm feeling a little better, you know? Because before, all the hate was towards the Mexicans, and then it went to the East Asians, and then it was the Indians, and now it's the Haitians. Whew, all right. It's their turn now, you know? I'm grateful for that, you know? Every minority gotta have their time in the sun. Or the spotlight, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that Taylor Swift endorsed her. You guys see that? Yeah, I thought Kamala won the debate, but now that Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala, she won the night. She will never let another woman have a number one in front of her, will she? She just can't give it to him. Damn, it's good to be in Hawaii. It's, what day is it, like Wednesday? It doesn't matter. I got fired from my job, so every day is Saturday night, baby. Hell yeah. And I wanted to be hella upset about it too, but like, they were right, you know? Whole time they're firing me, I'm like, you guys are making an objectively good business decision right now. I bought stock in the company after they let me go. I was like, leadership knows what they're doing, okay? This shit is going to the moon, bro. Like, I wasn't a good employee. Like, one time my boss tried to give me a compliment. She was like, hey, good job on that spreadsheet. You're like an Excel guru. I was like, damn, guru feels racial. But you know, she was Asian, so I was like, you know what? Thanks, sensei. And I gave her a little bow. Goes both ways. It's honestly really nice being in paradise. I'm actually also going through a breakup, so you guys might be in for a treat. You know? I could cry on stage, yeah. Tomorrow's headline, yeah, local comedian throws stool. I don't know. No, it's okay. I saw it coming. You know, sometimes you just know. But I saw it coming. Like, one time I texted her, love you, and she responded, much love. Brutal, right? Much love. That's the thing you say to the Chipotle guy after he gives you extra chicken. You're like, yeah, much love, bro. I didn't know I'm her barber after a fresh fade. Like, that's who you say much love to. I texted all my friends. I took a screenshot, texted my guy friends in a group chat, and I was like, oh, chat, am I cooked? Like, all my guy friends are assholes too. They're all like, it's bad, bro. Like, we'll see you in the gym, okay? Yeah, dude, guy friends are mean. Like, my roommate has my location, and I was walking along a river, and he unprompted texted me a gif of Kendall Roy floating in a river from Succession. It's like, damn, dude. Guy friends are brutal. All my girlfriends are much more positive with me about this. They're all like, you know what? No, this is an opportunity for you to learn about yourself. This is good. You can learn about yourself. You know what? Google anxious attachment. Like, that's... And all my guy friends are like, nah, Google stoicism, okay? At least it didn't end toxic. Like, I've been there too, and I feel too old for the toxicness, so it was pretty amicable. Like, one time, me and my first girlfriend used to fight on Venmo. Yeah, I swear, I wish I was kidding. Like, what would happen is, we'd block each other on everything after a fight, right? But you couldn't on Venmo back in the day. So I'd get $1 on Venmo, and the memo would just read, unblock me. I'd send her the $1 back, and I'd be like, no. Then she'd send the $1 back to me and be like, please. And now I already know that we're about to get back together and continue the cycle. But I wanted to up the level of toxic, so when we do continue the cycle, it's more passionate. If you know, you know. That's real game, you know what I'm saying? But so I sent her $100, and I wrote, leave me alone. And then she did. I was like, what? Hey, wait a second. I sent her another $1. I was like, hey, give me my $100 back. She sends that $1 back, and she's like, I'm keeping it. Much love. I was like, God damn it. Yeah, so no girl, no job. I have a ton of free time. I've been watching a lot of rom-coms, because those guys seem to know how to keep a woman, you know? I've been using rom-com logics out there in the dating world. Like the other day, I saw a pretty girl in a car in front of me, so I did what any guy in a rom-com would do. I just, you know, lightly rear-ended her, yeah. They gotta hate you first, right? Them's the rules. And I did it. And I got a date out of it, so... no need. It was a court date, but hey, you know. She'll be there. I'm not... She has to. And honestly, like, as a brown man, I feel blessed that I can date, like, you know, with experiment. Because when I turn 30, I can always get my mom to get me an arranged marriage. Yeah. I can get bailed out by 30. No risk, no problem, you know?
No risk.
That's kind of sweet. That's a sweet gig. I was telling someone on the flight about like my grand arranged marriage plan, and like it was some white dude, and he was like, "Oh, arranged marriages, I could never do that." And it's like, okay. No, that's the thing. Whenever you tell non-brown people about arranged marriages, they always tell you they could never do it, and it's like, fine, dude, you weren't invited to participate, you know. Matter of fact, stay away from our women, Connor. I think I really hate to see it. Dude, I don't know what it is about Hawaii, but it's like pulling teeth with y'all. This shit usually works, you know? I feel like this is my make-a-wish. Like, what's going on? Jesus, even that usually works. Whatever. Trying to better myself. I recently turned 26, so I've been like doing the medical rounds, you know? Because my insurance gave me another month before it lapsed with my parents, you know? And I was like, you know what, first I'm gonna get my head right. So I go and I see a psychiatrist. And I fucked up, because apparently a psychiatrist is the one that just gives you drugs. The therapist is the one that wants to hear you out. So I go to the psychiatrist, and he's just offering me drugs that I low-key already have access to, you know? My psychiatrist was like, all right, man, I'm gonna give you some Adderall. And I was like, oh shit, the blue ones? And he's like, dude, I can't give it to you now, you know? And then I was like, okay, you know what? I was watching a lot of TikToks, and for some reason when I turned 26, all my TikToks started recommending me videos of like people getting cancer really young. Yeah, I don't know, like all my TikToks were like, are you in your mid-20s? You're stage 4, it's over, bro, yeah. Those were all my TikToks, so TikTok convinced me that like I had colon cancer. Because I was like, yeah, I poop weird sometimes, I just drink too much, that's it. But I was like, might be worth getting it checked out, right? I think I need to go get a colonoscopy. That was, yeah, my solution at 26 years old, so I went. I go to the colonoscopist or whatever, you know, I didn't go to college.
I didn't go to college.
I do this for money, come on. I go, and he takes one look at me, and immediately he's like, bro, you are way too young for me. I was like, I'm over 18, I consent, like, what do you need? He's like, I'm not doing this for you, man. And I was like, please do this for me, man. He's like, I'm not doing this for you, man. And now, I am begging a grown man to essentially stick a GoPro in my asshole, right? The secretary comes in, she's like, hey, insurance cleared. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it, get up there.
Stick a GoPro.
There's no delicate way to say this. So I'm in the fetal position at my colonoscopist, and he's doing the thing. And I don't know if my insurance is bad or whatever, but there was like a TV where you can see everything that he's doing. And this, by the way, the clearest TV I've ever seen. Like, it's in 4K. They got Snapchat filters on it and shit. I was like, first of all, why is my asshole in glam? And can you at least get rid of the dog ears? Like, please. It's over. I don't have colon cancer. I step out. Oh, come on. Not yet. We'll see. It's over, right? And at the end, the doctor, like, you know, we were chatting it up while I was, like, you know, in the fetal position. So he was like, you know what, man? Like, if you ever get nervous again, I'm gonna give you my personal phone number. I was like, whoa, this was not a date. What the fuck? I want to be on hold with your secretary for an hour to be in touch with you, man. But he's like, no, we'll be friends. Like, I'll text you my Instagram. We'll stay in touch. It's like, dude, anybody that's ever seen my asshole that I don't talk to is blocked on Instagram. Like, there's no way that you're gonna be on my Instagram. So I did. I blocked him on everything. A couple weeks later, I get a Venmo request for the copay. And the memo just reads, unblock me. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I'm objectively pretty nice at this. You guys, what, you guys on Xanax or something? Like, what's up? Oh, come on, relax, it's okay. I wish I had more halal humor for you guys. I don't know. Would that do it?
Hello.
I don't know. What are you guys into? What do you want me to talk about? All right, cool. I'll just keep telling jokes then. Yeah. You know what? How about this? I started comedy in San Francisco. Sammy and I grew up in like the same neighborhood. And for some reason in San Francisco, I typically only get booked to do stand-up in the gay district. I don't know what it is. Like they just love me over there in the cash show. Yeah, they did. And just like, observing the environment, I always found it kind of wild how handsy gay men are with women just because they're gay. Right? Because, okay, women, y'all are smarter than men. All right? Scientifically, objectively, yeah. Give it up
That's
for
right.
yourselves, for sure.
Women are smarter.
You are smarter than men.
Nuh-uh.
But
Yeah.
y'all like men. So that makes you less smart.
No.
Than lesbians, And I've never seen a lesbian grab a dude's dick and be like, it's cool, he's my bitch. Like, it doesn't. Yeah.
Doesn't that make your baby less smart?
Real shit. I was on tour with Sammy in Seattle, and it was around the time of the breakup, so he recommended I go get a massage. He recommended a spa and everything. I go into the massage parlor, and it looks like no one has been in here for months, right? I walk in, the lights turn on. It was one of those. And then there's this little Asian woman that runs out. She's grabbing me by the hand, really trying to make me not leave this massage. And I was like, no, it's okay. My friend prepaid. I'm not gonna leave. I get on the massage table, and at the end of the massage, she's like, you know what? For an extra $50, I'll jerk you off. And I was like, oh, hell no, There's no way. But then I see on her phone that she gets a text. And I see her iPhone background is a picture of her daughter. And I'm like, damn. There was no one in this massage parlor. It looked like no one had moved for hours. That extra $50, she might be putting food on the table for her kid, might help pay rent, school's coming up, maybe some school supplies. So I look at that iPhone background, I look at her kid, and I was like, you know what? This is for you. And I let her mom jerk me off. And I see a lot of people judging me. First of all, I asked you if there's anything you wanted me to talk about. Now you hear this. What have you learned? And I see a lot of judgment. And I just wanted to say, I just supported a single mother. I didn't see a ring on her finger. Support her daughter and help them get through another day. Yeah, that's what I like to call a happy ending, dude. Yeah. I can say jokes like that because I think you need 3 brown people to be nominated for an Emmy, Oscar, whatever. So I'm gonna get it in there in the quota system. I could be mediocre finally. Couldn't get into Harvard, but god damn it, I could have one episode on BET. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of up in media. I was watching this interracial dating show called Love Is Blind. Have y'all seen it? Yeah, season 2, we had a brown guy in it. Interracial dating show. I was like, oh shit, look at us, desirable. Yeah. And then I'm watching the show and the brown guy's an asshole. I'm like, no, brown guy. We just got here, Give it a second before you let them know us, And still progress though, right? Because before you used to see us on TV, we're nerds or on ESPN. Because we won the spelling bee, still nerds. I just want to see us take it to the next level, though. One day, I want to turn on reality TV and hear, Rakesh, you are not the father. Oh, diggity, that's Rakesh. That would be awesome. Anyway, that's my time, y'all. Thank you so much.
Make some noise for Shy, everybody. Are you guys ready for your headliner? Yeah! I feel like you guys could have done so much better. There's so many people in here. Let's try it one more time. You guys ready for your headline of the night? Hell yeah. Everybody make some noise for Sammy O.B. How we doing? That's about how I thought. 16 people are very expressive, and the rest of you are like, we're just here. Good to see you, by the way. I just saw you like 2 days ago, right? Good to see you. She came to my show in Maui. She hopped over to see this one. It was that good. Right? It was that good? You don't know what you missed in Maui. Yeah. You should have been at the one in Maui. Why'd you guys come to the island that you live on? Probably learn to swim, okay? Yeah, Maui. No, Maui was... Come to Big Island? Yeah. You know what? I'm canceling this show. We're going to Big Island right now. We're going to go to Kauai. Let's go. Yeah, Maui was... No, that was an interesting show, for sure. Some people walked out in the middle. But it was the nicest walkout ever. Yeah, it was people in the front, ironically, in the front, like the front, there was 3 women in the front, and then about an hour in, they just couldn't take it anymore. And so they just got up, and the woman leaned in, and she's like, "Thank you for having us." And like, that was the nicest walkout. I've never had my dreams crushed in like the nicest way possible. But they left, and we tried to sell them a shirt on the way out. They didn't bite. But I have a feeling you guys are going to stay. I feel like if you did leave, it would be to get to my Big Island show early. You know what I mean? That's one reason you would leave early. Has anybody else here ever seen me live before?
Yeah.
Amazing. Was it earlier this year? Yeah. That was fun, right? We had a good time. You didn't walk out of that one, right? No. All right, good. You took pictures of me after? Do you still have them? Oh, that's awesome. You didn't burn them yet? That's great. Great. Not yet. You didn't have to say that. You're supposed to be like, no, we would never burn our phones. I'm assuming they took Polaroid pictures. Cool. Some people are liking the humor so far. Some people are like, I see why those ladies walked out of Maui. For those of you who haven't seen me live before, my name is Hassan Minaj. Want to leave some negative feedback on my website, hassanminaj.com. Leave a comment tonight. Let me know how the show went or didn't go. Cool. Does anybody here follow me on social media? A good proportion of the room. Anybody here just like straight up come to a show, has no idea what they're getting into? Yeah. These are the people who are going to walk out later. Just kidding. You're a lot happier than the ones who are there now. I'm not a mean person. That's the weird thing. In fact, I'm trying to be nicer. Lately I've been starting all my sentences with respect.
Stop laughing at the wall.
That's a game changer. If you can pretty much say anything after, but you still come off like very nice. Respectfully, go fuck yourself. Nobody told me like that before. But, yeah, or I say things with a smile. You know what I mean? Like, you need to shut the fuck up. Say it with a smile. Or, with all due respect. I say that a lot. I said that to a guy recently. I'm like, with all due respect. And he's like, you've never respected me ever. I'm like, well, then with all past due respect. Just trying to be nice. But I am aware that I can be very judgmental of people. I tend to, and this is my problem, I tend to judge people by their intelligence. And that is something that I need to stop doing because I live in America. And I continue to do that. I'm going to have no friends. No one's going to like me. It's going to keep judging people on intelligence. We're not an intelligent country, and that's okay. That's okay. Respectfully, that's okay. But yeah, I actually, because I majored in mathematics, that's why I do stand up now. And I'm obviously not the best mathematician
mathematician in the world, because if I was, I wouldn't be doing comedy, right? And I'm not the best comedian in the world, because if I was, you know, we'd probably have more security here. Very vulnerable to this front row right here. So I'm not the best mathematician, and I'm not the best comedian, okay? But if you take the weighted average, that's a fucking comic out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. See? Some of you got that, some of you, respectfully, I love what you're doing. I see you trying. You know what, it was the public school system fucking up, that's what it was. Because I went to kindergarten. Kindergarten. And when I went to kindergarten, I realized something, like the first 2 weeks of kindergarten, like they ran like tests on all of us, so that they would like ask us questions, like make us spell our name. They would like throw a ball at us, see how fast we would flinch. And then they divided us into groups after 2 weeks. And I like it hit me, and maybe I realized like they divided us for a reason. And I eventually realized they divided us by intelligence. And I realized this because they divided us into 4 groups. It was the red group, orange group, green group, purple group. I was in the purple group. At first I was like, oh, are we like the Prince fans or something? I didn't know what purple meant. But then I started to observe the behavior of the kids in the different groups. Like the kids in the red group, they were like eating glue. The orange group, like they were just hyperactive, so they just made them play tag all day. The green group was like learning to read, but very slowly. And then we were solving linear equations. So like, yeah, it was like a segregation thing. Which kind of fucked up. Like the red group was the dumb group. They're like, code red, these kids are dumb, you know? And I told this to my friend who teaches kindergarten. She's like, you were not supposed to figure that out. I'm like, well, I did because I'm in the purple group. Okay? Sorry that I cracked your code. But yeah, you know, I went on to become a math teacher, and that was, you know, that was so difficult because nobody wanted to learn it, so it was very difficult. And it's because, you know, math teachers, we face a challenge that everybody's told that you learn math in school and you never really use it again in the real world, which is, you know, maybe 90% true. But really, I think anything in math can apply to the real world if you just, like, figure out how you're going to apply it. Like, for instance, my favorite thing in mathematics, and everybody here knows it, you just maybe don't know it by name, it's called the identity property. It's whenever you add a number to 0, don't yawn too loud, please. Whenever you add a number to 0, you get the number, right? I'm just gonna fuck with you, respectfully. When you add a number to 0, you get the number, right? So, for instance, 6 plus 0 equals
6.
You
Zero.
guys are very smart. You got that. Like 10 people do that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for America. Okay. 7 plus 0 equals
7.
Wow, you got smarter on that one for some. Right, so right. You know, it seems very obvious, but it's called the identity property because you add a number to 0, you always get the number. It's called identity because you put a number next to 0 and it finds itself. Oh my God, I gotta rouse just thinking about this, right? So, of course, that's true in real life. If you're ever struggling to find your identity, you want to know your self-worth, it's very simple. You just hang out with a 0. We all know it, you know? And we hang out with them because it makes us feel good about ourselves, right? So everybody in here has a 0 friend. And if you don't, you are that 0 friend to someone else. If you're feeling low, you don't hang out with your friend who's a 10. You'll feel negative, you know what I mean? You call up your 0 friend and discover your absolute value. That's what you do. That's as simple as math gets, really. So you can't process why that's funny. Well, I would love to hang out with you. I would love to hang out with you and discover some of my value. But I gotta stop being judgmental because I deal with people on the internet all the time, and you know, people who leave mean comments on the internet, they tend to not be very smart. It's just a correlation I've noticed. Like I posted a video, this guy commented, he just commented, "not funny." which, you know, kind of hurts because he said, you know, it's subjective, like humor is subjective. He should have said not funny to me, you know, but he said not funny, like it's been scientifically tested, you know, like 10 out of 10 doctors agree that I'm not funny, but that test has not happened yet, you know. He said not funny. So all I responded back with was shut the fuck up, bitch. That's all I said. Respectfully, that's all that I said. And he got all poetic back with me. He's like, this is chess, I'm a king, and you're a prawn. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, what? You just call me a prawn? Dude straight up called me a shrimp, and he didn't even know it. Honestly, I didn't even want to correct him. But yeah, that's I have to just like let those things go. Like when somebody says library instead of library, like that takes me off. And listen, I grew up like that. When I was a kid, I called it a library. Straight up thought it was just another kind of berry, right? You're like blueberry, strawberry, library. Let's get some books out of other kind of berry. And at some point you grow up and you realize it's not berry, it's library, you know? And I know grown adults who are still out there calling it a library. It's like, where the fuck do you put the R, dude? Like, probably in prawn. I gotta let it go. Yeah. So, you know, the other thing was, you know, when we were in Maui, like, people in Hawaii, I would say less here in Honolulu, because Honolulu is like a city. It's like a city. And so people in Hawaii in general, they tend to not want to talk about politics. Which, like, in the mainland, like, that's what turns us on. And, like, we're fueled by hatred of each other, and so we need to find more ways to, like, yell at each other, and we love that in the mainland. I don't know if you know that it's like, if you look at the map of the United States, it's like divided into states and stuff. Yeah. You guys are just out here being islands and shit. We're actually, right? Like, even if you got in the water, you're still in the state. Like, you can't, like, we cross lines and we're like different places and shit. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's getting real heated politically right now. And yeah, so some people did watch the debate today. Like, yeah, you did. It's like no one in Maui seemed to give a shit. They didn't even know that it was going to happen. I was like, y'all are watching the debate, and they're like, are you going to debate someone tonight? I was like, but it was interesting. It was an interesting debate to watch. I want to make this very clear. I'm not a Trump supporter. Okay, I'm not going to vote for Trump. Okay, but can we just let him be in every election? Like, please, as a comedian, please. I don't care if you don't like him. I don't care if you disagree with everything he says, because at some point he'll say something you disagree with. But can we just please let him be in the election? He just, like, he gives us so much gold. You know what I mean? Like, just one debate tonight, and he gave us the line that is going to be immortalized. Like, it's going to live forever. They're eating pets. They're eating pets is classic. They're already listening to it on the frequencies in other universes, and being like, that shit is hilarious, dude. He thinks that immigrants are out there eating pets. And here's the thing, he may not be wrong, okay? He may not be wrong. There's enough immigrants in this country that certainly one has eaten somebody's pet at some point. Like, that's just pure statistics.
Yes.
But I do think, you know, I think people reacted thinking it was funny for the right reasons. I think people were, like, upset with it for the wrong reasons, because, you know, he said, you know, he's like, they're eating pets, like, and yeah, like obviously you can't just be like, there's a lot of people, like, it's probably not a lot, it's probably like just a few pet-eating immigrants, you know what I mean? But he should have been fair about it and said, yes, and there's some born and raised naturalized citizens who are also eating pets as well, and we need to talk about pet eating as a whole, instead of just pushing the blame just on a subgroup of people. Also, my take is like, is it that bad? Being pets, like which pet? You know what I mean? Like, not all pets are good. Like, I think we can all agree, not all pets are good. Pets are just like people, okay? Pets are just like immigrants. I can make this joke. Don't worry. My family's immigrants. I can make this joke. Pets are just like immigrants in that there is some good and there's some bad, okay? And there are bad pets. You gotta admit, there's bad animals, and they're coming into your houses. They're bringing their bones. They're bringing their noise, okay? They're rapists. Some of them, I assume, right? They hump your leg. Don't be lying. Some of them, I assume, are good pets. Okay? But just so you know, now that this information is out there might be a group of migrants who's going to go targeting pets. There might be. You need, yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, dude, and he didn't even specify what was it, dogs or cats. He didn't even specify. Yeah, 'cause some of you probably have the image of like, oh, they're out there eating dogs. Well, they could be taking birds straight out of cages. Just birds straight out of, or lizards even, lizards. There are people walking around in this country grabbing goldfish out of bowls, just downing goldfish. Yeah. Guard your pet chameleon tonight. They're not safe. Okay? All pets are a threat. Even the turtles. The turtles aren't going to run away. The turtles aren't going to run away. Yeah. There might be, who knows, there might be a migrant coming by your house tonight. Sees your cat just asleep and just grabs by the pussy. Just grabs it. That was another banger! From 8 years ago! Can't we just, like, I don't want him to be president. I just want a couple bangers. Once every 4 years. Okay? But yeah, I mean, listen, and I'm very open about my politics. I wish more people were. I don't think they should, like, I wish more people were and some people were less. That's I wish there's like this nice gray area of like how open about your politics you can be. And I'm not a fan of Kamala, okay, but I do think she won the debate. I think she did better than Trump, objectively, and that's even coming from someone who does not like Kamala. You know, it's scary. It's scary that, like, you know, when Taylor Swift endorses, it's like game over. You know what I mean? Like, you get the Swiftie endorsement, it's like, because there was conspiracies about, like, Taylor Swift possibly endorsing the Democrats, and she was like, no. And then Taylor Swift straight up posted a picture with her cat. Like, she brought her cat, and he put her cat at risk. You know, there's people out there who want to eat it. She brought her cat out and said, I'm voting for Kamala. Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm running for president in 2036. Gives me enough time to pass the drug test. Hopefully there won't be one by then. I'm going to unite America, though. Like, you know, I think, you know, as much as, you know, they go back and forth, Kamala and Trump, with these issues. It's like the same issues, like immigration, abortion. Like, sure, they're important, whatever, okay? But I'm going to do some real shit that nobody's out there doing. I'm going to make loud cars illegal, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, I know this already divides the crowd. I know I just alienated about 10% of the room, but the other 90% fucking loves me for it, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Loud cars need to go. We need to sleep. I don't know why people think they need to rev their engine in a residential area at 2 fucking a.m. I think that should be illegal and their tires should be shot out on the spot. That's my personal opinion. Okay? We'll keep the loud car legal. There's just gonna be some regulations. You don't fucking follow the rules, each tire shot out. So. Trust me, I know there's people who are very resistant to this platform. I said it one night at a bar, which is like the worst place to fucking say it. Everybody drove there in a fucking loud car. And they're gonna drunk drive home. And I was like, I'm gonna ban loud cars. And the guy was like, boo! Boo! now you get what it's like to hear something you don't want to hear. So. But I'm going to unite America by making marijuana allowed on planes. That's something nobody's fighting for it. These fake ass candidates, okay? Oh, even Trump's like, I'm gonna legalize marijuana. What about in the fucking skies? Where it's most needed. Fighting on the ground, dude. I mean, get it legal in the fucking skies, man. I'm gonna make marijuana allowed on planes by 2036. That's my promise. In 2036, marijuana will be allowed on every plane, okay? And babies will not. No babies. We'll get them there on their own safer and louder baby plane. Safer and louder. Get on your special plane, take a special brownie, wake up in New York City. That's how it's supposed to be. I already got the motto: fly high in the skies with no cries. So, we're gonna be working on reducing noise. That's kind of a big goal of mine. But yeah, so what's next? Let's talk about Diddy.
Diddy. Shanti Diddy.
I like difficult topics. People will get upset too because they discovered me because of like a math joke video. They're like, oh, I love this, a math comedian. Oh no, he does politics. Like, oh, you're surprised that I would take on another challenging subject? Listen, it's been very hard to write a joke about Diddy because if you follow the story, it keeps getting worse and worse. I don't know if you are. Turns out his record label, Bad Boy, is not an ironic name at all, okay? He's a very bad boy. And it's crazy because I grew up in the 90s when he was Puff Daddy. Anybody remember back when he was Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
So sweet and innocent. He was like a puffy, like a marshmallow. Like, oh, Puff Daddy, he just cares about his friend Piggy. Turns out he had a lot more going on inside. Some demons. And then he changed his name to Diddy, and that was a big what the fuck moment for a lot of us. It was like, it was Puff Daddy, we're like, okay, I get that. He's cute, puffy, daddy. Yeah. And then he called himself P. Diddy. Like, what the fuck is that? What is the P? Do you shorten the Puff? Is that your initialing Puff? And then you took the A out of Daddy, turned it into Diddy. Like, nobody knew what the fuck he was doing. Everybody was like, why Diddy? Like, why Diddy? It was like a riddle. Because like Diddy's not like a word that anybody uses in any context. It's not a slang word like, well, something about Diddy. Nobody does that. So it was all perplexing to all of us. But after smoking some marijuana on a plane, I put it together. I realized why. He wanted to be the baddest boy of all time. Yeah, he wanted to do worse than any other human being who's done evil. You know, because we know of like famous people who the power got to their heads and they did like, crazy shit, got canceled. We know about a lot of people like that, but he's like, I want to do all of it. You know what I mean? Like he R. Kelly'd Hunter Biden and Cosby. Like he did all crazy combinations. And it's just this disgusting, rich, powerful man mentality. He was like, oh, I have all the power in the world. Should I A, trade drugs in my backyard? B, money launder for funsies? C, start slipping things into people's drinks even if it's my guy friends? D, videotape it all for the memories? Or E, all of the above? And he did E. That's the thing I love about Hawaiian audiences is your reaction to jokes is the same as your like time zone. It's like 3 hours later. I told that joke at 6 p.m. tonight. And you guys just left. I might live here one day. Fuck it. I might live here one day. Okay, I love these islands, man. Yeah, I lived in LA for too many years. I moved back to my home in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, last year. Yeah, fuck with the Bay Area. I hated LA. I never liked it. It never vibed with me. Because it's like, LA is, you know, people go there to pursue big dreams, but like most people, statistically, the dreams are not gonna happen. So, you know, it's just a lot of dead dreams, you know what I mean? A lot of, it's a graveyard for dreams down there. And so, yeah, you know, just never vibed with LA. I should have known, like when I moved there was a lot of signs that were like telling me to go back home. Not like actual physical signs, but metaphorical. When I moved to LA, me and my friend, we wanted to get a place together, and we were searching, couldn't find anywhere reasonable or affordable. Finally, after searching for weeks and weeks, a place just fell into our lap. It was the perfect place. It was centrally located, it had low rent, it already had furniture in it for some reason, which is like perfect because we're lazy. So we're like, sign us up, put us on the lease for a whole year. What could go wrong, right? So a week in, I'm sitting on my new couch that I didn't pay for, and the front door just swings open. And I look over, and a human man, who I've never seen in my entire life, looks more surprised to see me than I am to see him. Yeah, so I'm just like, dude. And he's like, dude. I was like, I live here. He was like, I live here. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And so I talked to him, and it turns out he did in fact live in my apartment with his entire family, but they hadn't paid rent in time the previous month, so the shady landlord found a loophole to lease it to the both of us at the same time, knowing that this confrontation was going to happen, and we just have to figure it out. Shady as fuck. I was pissed, man. I was like, you could have told me the people live here, bro. But at the same time, I was like, oh shit, that's why there was furniture here already. Fuck, I should have noticed. Should have noticed these pictures of the family on every dresser. It's the same family. Oh shit. That's you. But I was pissed. I called up the landlord. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, write that in the description of your place. Has a hot tub in the back. It comes with a family of 5. I mean, am I wrong for thinking that if you move somewhere promised by someone that they should tell you if other people live there? I was like, man, is this what it feels like to be Israel?
Oh my God.
Too heady for some of you? Listen, this is the real story. It really happened. I'll never forget the place. It was 1948 Holy Land Boulevard. It was a beautiful, everyone wanted a little piece. 1948 Holy Land. And so the landlord tried to pitch us a 2-bedroom solution. I was like, bro, this is a 2-bed, 1 bath. And that bathroom is a very holy site for all of us here. So we ended up dividing the bathroom into 4 quarters. Now we got an Armenian guy in the shower. So that joke absolutely tanked it in Maui.
He's talking about Jerusalem, yeah?
So strange how a room full of white people in Maui didn't want to hear about land back. There it is, right there. Yeah. But yeah, you know, some of you might know this about me. I'm Lebanese, Palestinian American. You know, I love both, man. Lebanese people are very fun. My dad grew up in Beirut, Lebanon. I asked him what he did for fun as a kid. He was a little too honest with me. He was like, we would smoke hashish and chase each other in the parking lot. We called it hashtag. Like, oh. Baba jokes. Hashtag. Yeah. Yeah, I love being Lebanese. I love being Palestinian. I love being Palestinian because it's the one identity you bring up and it's instantly controversial. It's like, ooh, I'm naturally edgy. Like a polygon. Like I'm a polygon, you know what I'm saying? I'm a polygon, yeah. How many sides to that? 2, the river and the sea. Relax, this is a joke. geometry joke. Or is it geography? I always get those two mixed up. Might even be geology because we love them rocks. This is where the ladies walked out. Why is it so controversial to say that you're Palestinian? It's so fucking crazy. I told the guy my family's from Palestine. He's like, Palestine's a made-up country. I was like, what? He's like, Palestine's a made-up country. I was like, I heard you the first time. He's like, yeah, I heard Palestine's a made-up country. I was like, yeah, it is. Like any country. What country is not made the fuck up? That's how you get countries. You make them up. It's actually a lot of fun making up countries. Like step 1, you make up a name, you know. Step 2, you pick a jingle and a dance. Step 3, you pick out colors for your flag. If you can't wave that flag in certain places, you find a fruit that resembles the colors you posted on social media. Fake it till you make it. I asked this guy, I was like, what's your name, man? He was like, Clarence. I'm like, that's a made-up name. I'm gonna take it with your parents, bro. I think they don't made it up. I can't believe I've had to explain this to Americans. Like, Palestine is a real place. It was formerly a British colony. Huh? It reminds me of a country I know. Huh? Yeah, we got the same stepdad. You fucking know that shit? You know, I mean, I sympathize with people who know very little about Palestine or think it's a controversial issue because they just don't know. The media doesn't do a good job of telling you.
No.
You know, nobody's born with a Palestine starter kit. I get it. I didn't learn about Palestine until I was 10. When I was 10 years old, I asked my grandma, my teta, I was like, where are you from? She said, Palestine. And when you're a kid, you don't know all the big words, so I heard what I thought I heard. I thought she said Palestine. The time of palaces. Yeah. She's like, we're from Palestine. I was like, dude, we're fancy, huh? Yeah. I was born in Palestine. I was like, I knew you were old, but not that old. You know? So we're from Palestine. How do we get here? This ain't no palace. This is one bed, one bath. She's like, well, we left. I'm like, you left Palestine? So you're a time traveler. So for years, people be like, where are you guys from? I'm like, we're from the past, dude. We come from a time long, long ago. Time of palaces. Palestine. They're like, Palestine? I'm like, it's a thing, Google it. And they would just Google Palestine right in front of me. And it would always pull up what time it is in Wales. They'd be like, bro, it looks like you're from 7:48 p.m. I'm like, yeah, well, what is that in military time? They're like, 1948. Well, exactly. If you didn't get that, don't worry, it's from the future. So, there's definitely a time travel. But that's what I'm saying. I lived in Hollywood for 15 years, and I was really trying to pitch a TV show that would educate Americans on Israel-Palestine, because I feel like the information is lacking. But nobody wanted my show, which was shocking. Yeah, I wonder why. The closest they were going to almost let me do was a game show. We almost had it. It was a game show hosted by Drew Carey. Yeah, it was called Whose Land Is It Anyway? It didn't get picked up. But it was better than my first idea, Deal or No Deal. That was too real for a lot of people. But yeah, you know, I was thinking of a show like that because I feel like Americans, when it comes to this situation, they always see it from like a land ownership perspective, you know? They're always like, well, who owns the land? Have you checked the deeds yet? Just check the deeds. Who owns the land? It's probably me. Like, that's the attitude. I remember one time, my Jewish friend and my Arab friend were getting into a debate about the situation. Like usual, it was getting very heated, and so my white friend thought he could save the day. And he's like, all right, guys, let's settle this. I'm like, don't use that word. He's like, just tell me, who was there first? I'm like, don't ask that fucking question. We're on the rabbit hole. Also, not how you solve a land dispute by asking who were the first people there, because spoiler alert, it wasn't you. It's not how land works. But if you want to play that game in this situation, we can. We actually know. It's been documented. The very first human beings to occupy the Holy Land were tribes that emigrated from Africa. Yeah. So black people, that's all you. Yeah. Or by looking at this Hawaii crowd, if you know black people, please let them know it is time to reclaim their land. I'm not trying to stir up shit too. I think that would be a good idea. Like, black people went back to the homeland. It would be like a new kind of birthright. You know what I mean? It would be like Zionism, but the Jamaican kind. It would be. It would shake things up, and be a new kind of. Because we've tried so many things to restore peace and justice over there, but like as much as I love my Middle Eastern brothers and sisters, I would love to see a strong black woman just go down there and be like, Shlomo, Muhammad, just like shut it down. Yeah, try it. That's the thing, just people see it as a land dispute, Anybody who knows nothing about Israel, Palestine, they're always like, well, it's just two people just fighting over land. That's all it is. It's just two people fighting over land. That's all it is. Just two people. I guess it's a little more complicated than that. It's also a lot more simple, really. When you look at the whole situation, it really is a human test for morality, right? When you look at what happened in Palestine, you look at 1948, before or after, the whole Israel-Palestine situation, whatever you want to call it exactly, it is the literal embodiment of the classic saying, two wrongs don't make a right. That's exactly what this situation is. And here we are, 76 years in on the 7 millionth wrong. And it's like, how many more fucking wrongs until we get this shit right? Like, when do humans learn? You can't fix a wrong with another wrong. If you wrong a wrong, you get a wrong. Okay? And if you wrong that wrong, it's a wrong. Okay? And if you wrong that wrong, it's triple wrong. You keep doing that, it goes on for a wrong time. We don't need any more wrongs, okay? We as humans need to learn how to get a wrong. You know what I'm saying? And the way to do that is by making things right. And the easiest way to make things right is simply by giving people rights, okay? When you give people rights, they can do right, okay? And rights are very powerful. They undo all wrongs. It's a phenomenon called right supremacy. Who's a better name for it? Right privilege. No, right? Change wrongs, man. If you right a wrong, you get a right instantly. Okay? And if you right that right, you're doing a good job, And if you right that right, you now made a left. You've gone a little too far. One more right, full circle, baby. Ready to stack rights on rights till everything's all right. I'm sure there's someone who thinks I'm wrong, but that was incredibly hard to write. But, I tell people, no matter what you know about the situation, really doesn't matter anymore because the adults have completely fucked this up. That's why we're at this stage that it's in. The adults have completely fucked it up, even to the point where, some of you know about it, you know how fucked up it is, and some of you don't even know. That's how fucked up it is, that you don't even know how fucked up it is. And the adults, it's because of the adults. Adults have failed. That's why you have students all around the world protesting on college campuses. You notice that? These kids, they're actually standing up for human rights, and I tell people, we are indebted to these kids for their courage, and they're in debt as well, so it's a lot of debt. And so, these kids, they're not only are they standing up for human rights, but they are standing up for our freedom of speech in this country that we live in, where we always uphold, we talk about how important freedom of speech is, but, you may or may not be familiar, but the House of Representatives, passed a bill a few months ago that could very likely ban a lot of free speech when it comes to the subject of Israel. If you say certain things about Israel, and not even like horrible, genocidal, more like using racial slurs, which are still legal for some reason, but like saying ambiguous calls for liberation. So, some of you may be familiar with the saying, liberation of Palestine, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. there is an attempt to make that illegal, like literally illegal. You can't even say from the river to the sea. What if you're giving directions to someone on a boat? You know that? See guys stranded on the lake in a little boat. You're like, hey man, what you want to do? You want to go from the river to the whoa. I was going to say from the river to the sea, his boat will be free. That's all I was going to say. You were going to say that once his boat gets out on the ocean, he's going to sink all the other boats. Like, this is not Battleship. Okay, that's not. I want the liberation of that particular boat. That's why I said from the river to the sea, his boat will be free. And I didn't say L5 sink or some shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just make up shit. Okay. But you know who else does from the river to the sea? A baby salmon. Aww. Every baby salmon is hatched upstream and has to swim down the river to the ocean to fulfill its life as a salmon. You want to ban that? No, banning that, that's anti-salmonism. That's what that is. But I've already decided, if they ban from the river to the sea, I'm going to start saying from sea to shining sea. Ain't nobody ban that, that's un-American. And it's also technically true in this situation because the Jordan River, which is the river in the phrase from the river to the sea, a little geography lesson real quick. The reason why they say from the river to the sea is because Palestine is between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. It's split into parts. There's people who live in the West Bank, there's people who live in Gaza, there's people who live inside of Israel, and they don't even have full rights. Allegedly they have full rights, but they don't. These are occupied peoples. They want to be free. In order for them to be free, they have to be free from that geographical part to that geographical part. Now, the Jordan River also feeds into the Dead Sea right below it. So, the Dead Sea and the Mediterranean, between those two lies Palestine. So in order for those people to be free from occupation and have the same rights that you and I have, allegedly, necessarily Palestine would have to be free from sea to shining sea. Okay, so you can use that. You could also say from sea to Dead Sea, but that's a little more threatening. I would do that one. People have already been correcting me. They're like, Sammy, technically the Dead Sea is a salted lake. I'm like, thanks for coming to the show. Yeah, right though. The Dead Sea is a salted lake. So we can say from the lake to the sea, okay? From the window to the wall. Like, what do you want? Actually, I like from the lake to the sea. I like from sea to lake because in Spanish, that's Mar-a-Lago. Then you have to get Trump to say it. From Mar-a-Lago, the Palestinians will be free. But yeah. Yeah, you know,
Viejo.
I do get a lot of heat for these things that I say, but most of it's online, so I feel safe. This one guy DM'd me. He's like, Sammy, did your tour fund Hamas?
Oh.
I was like, first of all, how did you know? Secondly, no, I'm not involved in the transferring of money to Hamas. That's more of Netanyahu's thing, actually. So I leave it to the pros, you know. But the biggest critique I get is, Sammy, how come every time you talk about Israel-Palestine, you're so one-sided? You only seem to take the Palestinian side. Why is that? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm Palestinian, maybe there's a little bias there. Or because I'm a human who cares. I don't know, a little bias. Honestly, I don't see myself as biased. I see myself as balanced. Because I know a lot about the situation. I have friends, you know, all across the board on the political spectrum. And really, like, yes, I say free Palestine, but like, who wouldn't if you believed in basic human rights? You know what I mean? It's like such a neutral shit. It's just like, that should be anybody's thought, is that people should have freedom. You know what I mean? Now, you know, at the same time, I'm not up here calling for like reckless violence or an endless war. Like, I want an end. I want a solution. I want a real solution, and I want it right fucking now. That's what any sane, balanced person actually wants, is a real solution and right fucking now. And so yes, while my jokes are pro-Palestine, and I say free Palestine, keep in mind, I'm an American, which means I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay? Statistically, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay? So, you know, and I'm an American who pays taxes. Okay? And I'm not don't know if you know about our taxes, but they do go to Israel, okay? So I'm kind of playing the field here when you think about it. I'm sending a lot of money to Israel, and I'm writing jokes for Palestine. Kind of a shitty deal when you think about it. I assure you, if my tax money was going to Palestine, I would do free Israel jokes. I'm very balanced like that. But alas, that's not how the canapé crumbles, okay? And then some people have the audacity to show up to my live show and be like, Sammy, you criticize Israel too much. It's like, bro, you paid for a ticket. And you paid taxes on that ticket. This is a fundraiser for the IDF. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Respectfully. But, you know, that's why I say I'm very open about my politics. I'm anti-war. I'm against war. War doesn't turn me on like it used to. You know, you know who else is like that, who just doesn't like war, is anti-war? Younger people, like people in college, you know, a lot of high school students typically are anti-war. It always seems to be the old fucks. You know, who are always like, well, sometimes you're gonna have a war. You know, like sometimes the war is justified. You know, like just out there trying to sell us war, getting off to wars. Really, people are not born wanting war. It's not a normal human thing. It comes from trauma and conditioning. And you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about how people, like, where people's values align and misalign. Because, like, you know, like some people support certain wars, they don't support certain wars. It's like, why not just, like, not be against all of them like that? Like, I value people who are consistent. Like, for instance, I think a lot about, like, the Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine matrix. You know, I respect people who have, like, consistent thinking. Like, if your position is, yes, Ukraine must stand up and resist occupation, and Palestine must stand up and resist occupation. That feels very aligned to me. That makes sense. That's consistent. Or if your position is like, hey, I don't like war. I want to stop these wars. I want to end this war. I want to end that war. Let's stop sending weapons. Whatever we got to do. There's got to be some concessions or some diplomacy. Let's end these fucking wars. I understand that position. Or even if, and I don't agree with this, but if your position's like, yeah, oppressor, get the weak. Like, okay, like, yeah, sure. I don't agree with it, so like, at least you're consistent. You know what I mean? Like, occupiers, occupiers. You don't hear that one ever. You're never like, yeah, Russia, Israel, doing their thing. You don't hear that ever. The one you most often hear from our politicians, literally all of them, is, yes, Ukraine, you must stand up and resist occupation, but Palestinians, let it go. What are you doing? What are you doing? And that's like, it's literally the majority of our politicians in the United States, which is crazy. I guess it's not too crazy when you understand how lobbying works. Yeah, once you learn about lobbying, you're like, oh, okay, they're getting paid to say that shit. Like, yeah. And not even big checks either. Like, dude, take care of your senators. Like, somebody Venmo your senators. They're out there justifying wars for like $50. It's like really bad. And that's because, you know, there's lobbying, and Israel has a very strong lobby organization called AIPAC. And you know, it's interesting because foreign lobbying doesn't exist in our country. AIPAC is like the biggest, but you don't. Like, Russia's not doing that for some reason. Like, there's no, like, Putin pack. You know if there was a Putin pack, like, our politicians would talk, like, way different. You know what I mean? He's like, well, Russia has the right to defend itself, you know? They would hire, they would have, like, Vlad Putin come out and, like, give a speech for Congress, you know, once a year. Can you imagine that? Congress having a full-on war criminal speak for them? That would possibly be. But the thing about Vlad, he doesn't even speak English, he only speaks Russian. So they would just come out and speak Russian for like 2 hours. They'd be like, yeah, this is good. You get a Venmo later? Venmo? I tell people, if you ever have like 3 hours to kill, I highly recommend you watch Vladimir Putin's interview with Tucker Carlson. Shit's wild, dude. It's all in Russian, you'll learn nothing. But he literally, you see what great lengths Vlad goes to try to convince the world why his people have the rights to their land. You're like, this sounds very familiar. Tales all the time, colonialism, right? And, you know, the thing about, he really gets into it so much. Like that interview, 2 hours of it, he spends telling his version of Russia-Ukraine's history. It's great. He writes like a full-on screenplay. He's like, external scene. Siberia, 3,000 years ago. Bear fight wolf. Bear win, Russia begin. Bear drink vodka. It was a good day. Scene 2. External scene, Siberia, 2,000 years ago. Bird fly out of sky and take fish from bear hand. Bear say, who are you, bird? Who are you, bird? Bird say, I crane. He said, Ukraine? And this is how it goes I won't say anymore because I basically spoiled it. That's exactly how it was. 2 hours.
I
So
couldn't.
admittedly, you know, I'm not as informed on Russia-Ukraine as I am on Israel conflict, but I do know enough to know that this recent war with Russia-Ukraine could have either been prevented or at least stopped by now, probably a very long time ago, by our country, the United States of America, who is instead prolonging the war for greed, imperialistic, typical bullshit fucking reasons that we do. And it's crazy, and it's crazy that, you know, and this is where, again, I usually vote third party. I don't align with, I align with a lot of progressive values, but I don't call myself a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not that. But this is a shortcoming specifically that the Democratic Party has, is that you have people who stand for a lot of progressive things that I stand for, like pro-choice, you know what I mean, rights for equality for people, climate change, things that I genuinely do care about. But suddenly, like, yeah, let's keep this fuck shipping weapons and sending, what the fuck are you, how does that align with progressive principles? And that's why I was so disappointed when the war in Russia-Ukraine broke out. People in the West, who I share similar progressive values with, were just cheering on the war like it was, like it needed to happen. I even hearing people say shit like, yeah, fuck Russia, get them, woo, NATO, you know, like, join NATO, Ukraine can join NATO, anybody can join NATO if they want to, come on, say it with me, yeah, NATO, woo, like, you would fucking know what NATO is, or NATO stands for. Somehow NATO became like the good guy aligned. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You know what North Atlantic means? It means white, okay? Look up the Atlantic. There's a lot of brown countries. NATO doesn't have a fucking single one of them, all right? That's why they call it North Atlantic, all right? It's look at the countries that NATO reps. They're all white countries, except Turkey, but Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's like and they're trying to get rid of Turkey now. They're actually trying to get Turkey out. So, like, yeah, like, you know, and again, I'm being very clear. Nothing wrong with being white, okay? But you can't call yourself a progressive organization if you only rep white nations. That's some racist shit, okay? Look at the list of countries that NATO reps, and you'll see white NATO spelled backwards is 0-10, okay? But this is an old game that we play here in the West, and like, you know, we do this thing where we create morality in the world, and we set it up so nicely. We use media to do it in such a way that anybody who resists that morality, we paint them as a villain, and everybody will think they're a villain, or we use words like terrorist. You know, terrorism is a racist word. It's used mostly on Middle Eastern people. It's so fucked up, the concept of terrorism, with the word terrorism, because if you know anything about imperialism and what it's done over hundreds of years, you would know that is the real terrorism. Like if you're against violence, like for real, actually against violence, and you want to call a suicide bomber a terrorist, great, good for you, fine, that's terrorism. But then you also got to call drones dropping bombs on entire nations terrorism as well. It's all fucking terrorism. Like, it's all terrorism. It's already consistent. Like, at least give the small guy credit for acting locally. You know what I mean? Like, I know we should small businesses. You know, like, he's more creative, that's for sure. You know, that's why it's called terrorist. It's terror artist. You know, he's like.
Oh my.
But people get on my case like, oh, you're just gonna joke about terrorism. I'm like, yeah, the fuck I am, dude. Like, jokes are the #1 form of non-violent resistance. Did you know that? Jokes are the #1 form of non-violent resistance. You know who said that? I But I don't, you know, by the way, I don't claim to be any pillar of justice myself. I don't even like when people call me things like, some people call me like a social justice warrior. I fucking hate that. Don't call me a social justice warrior, please. I prefer social justice jihadi. It's more fitting. I tend to take myself out in the whole process. And it's hard being an SJJ. You only got one shot. Yeah. Social justice. There's nothing wrong with social justice. Listen, I knew a real jihadi growing up, like an actual, I don't know anymore, but I knew growing up, I knew a real jihadi. And, no, he's like famous now. He went on to the big leagues or whatever. I don't support what he actually did, but I can say that I knew him before he blew up. And yeah.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, terrorist is a racist word. You know, Middle Eastern people, like, they attach this terrorist trope to us to the point where, like, we don't even feel comfortable getting angry in public because people look at us and they're like, oh, here comes the terrorist, you know? And it's like fucked up. Like, we're not angry people. We just have weird shaped eyebrows. You know what I mean? People think we're angry. We're not angry. You know, Middle Eastern people, we're considered white on the census. Isn't that fucking crazy? You know, you guys know that? We're considered white on the U.S. Census for years. It's been like that for over 100 years. There's actually a story behind it because in Los Angeles in 1909, there was a Syrian immigrant who had just moved from Syria, trying to start a better life in the U.S., and he volunteered to patrol his neighborhood. Like back in the day, if you want to be a cop, you can show up to work, basically. And he did that. And one night he's patrolling, and there's this kid running around getting drunk and fighting people. So he arrests the kid, and then it turns out that kid's dad was a prominent lawyer in the LA area, and they took the immigrant to court saying that he had no right to arrest his son because he wasn't a real American. And so they filed a case against this Syrian immigrant who was just trying to do his job as a patrol officer. And the mistake that they made was, Arabs all know good lawyers. Don't fuck with us legally. We fuck back. Arabs know good lawyers to the point where he gathered up his lawyer buddies and they took the case all the way up to the Supreme Court. They got in front of a Supreme Court judge and they're like, Your Honor, we know that you're here to prosecute our client, but we are here to say that our client is white. And the judge's like, what? He's like, yes, he's white. Any further questions? He's like, yeah, a lot of questions, actually. He's like, well, we'll walk you through it. Okay, Exhibit A, where is our client from? And the judge is like, the Middle East, I guess, the Levant region. And they're like, great, good job. Exhibit B, where is your Lord and Savior from? The judge started sweating. He's like, oh shit. He's like, you guys are white, have a good day. So they instantly made Middle Eastern people white on every census because they would rather make Middle Eastern people white than make Jesus Christ brown.
Damn.
That's how we got to white status.
I don't know if that's true or not.
But yeah, you know, I do make jokes, but I'm trying to do more things to like be helpful, more activism stuff or jihadism, whatever you would describe. Yeah. The last few months I've been trying to help evacuate some families out of Gaza. And this is something that anybody can do. I highly recommend you look into it if you're looking for a way to like help. It's actually kind of simple. You just find a random guy in Egypt, you offer him money and see what happens. It's sketchy. But you can save lives, and you know it is hard. It's hard if you're trying. It's a little less hard if you're just trying to get out one person. I was trying to get out a woman and her 5 kids. And one of her kids was sick and needed urgent medical attention, so the stakes were very high. And we were looking for weeks, and we couldn't find a single person who would take all 6 of them. So finally, after a few weeks of searching, I get a random WhatsApp message, and it's like, psst, and I'm like, this sounds legit. And this guy is like, I can take the woman and her kids tomorrow, but I need you to wire me the money tonight. And I was like, okay, how much? And he was like, 40,000. Yeah, my response exactly. I was like, is that with taxes or, you know, does that include shipping too? I canceled my membership, so. He was like, no, 40,000 flat. I was like, wow. My mind was like, wow, that's a lot of money. But this might be the only chance that we have to get this woman out, so we should probably just do it. And my heart was like, Sammy, why do you even think about money? Like, there's no price on human life. You live in the first world. Do the right thing. Get this woman out. So my heart and my mind was fully aligned, okay? Bank account, not as much. Heart and mind, fully aligned. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, okay? I'm not proud of this. I don't know if it's genetic, but something inside of me just really wanted to bargain. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. I am not a bad person, okay? I am who my parents raised. You keep that part in mind. Okay, I already told you, my heart and my mind were in the right place. I already told you that part, okay? But when he said 40,000, the Arab in me was triggered, okay? I was like, 40? No, halas, 40, no. Just like having like cold sweats, like flashbacks to my dad in the supermarket haggling with real price tags and shit. So I kid you not, well, my heart and my mind are telling me to do the right thing. Threw my hands into the keys, I just typed out, can you do 25? That's what came out. And he was like, no, 40. I was like, 27, I'll throw in a hookah. I was trying. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll give you a good deal, habibi, you know? He kept saying that. I was like, yeah, this guy's good. I should have spent more time in the Jerusalem markets. Finally, he got so fed up that I kept trying to bargain with him that he stopped responding to my texts. And then he stopped reading my text. I got ghosted by a random guy in Egypt.
Aww.
And that's when reality sank in, and I realized what I had just done. I had totally foiled the opportunity to save this woman and her kids because I was trying to save a few $1,000s. Man, when I realized that, I went to a very dark place. I started crying, throwing stuff, just taking it real personally, like maybe I'm just not good at bargaining. Just disgrace to my bloodline. And I'm like, well, I gotta tell this woman what happened, you know? But how do you even tell someone that? You know, like, oh, I would have saved you, but I was trying to save. Like, how do you say that?
Oh no.
So I text her at night, she doesn't respond, and now I'm feeling worse. I'm just going into like a downward spiral, which is really what I wanted him to do with the price. Finally, she responds to me at 3 a.m. and she just texts ... I was like, oh shit, she totally knows. I was like, is everything okay? And she responds, we made it to Egypt. I was like, thank God. Now I don't have to tell her what happened. I was like, this is amazing. How did you make it? That's great. How did you make it? Like, we were looking for weeks. How did you find somebody who was going to take all 6 of you? She's like, well, we found someone. They made an offer, and we jumped on it because they offered a great deal, $18K. I was like, what? I was like, I'm happy for you, but also, how did you do that? Teach me your ways, sister. She's like, well, you got a bargain. I'm like, you do! You do. You know what's crazy? I later found out that number on WhatsApp that I messaged turned out to be a scammer. Yeah, turned out to be a scammer. Because I'm on these threads that tell you who to look out for. He was one of them. And like, I was kind of happy when I found out because I was like, well, my gut knew, you know? It wasn't me being cheap after all, it was my gut. But also still kind of sad, like even the scammer didn't want to bargain with me. But yeah, you know, it's been hard writing jokes, you know, in this situation. It's been a very dark time, and I'm trying to stay positive. And I think what is motivating me is knowing that as dark as it is right now, I do sincerely believe that we are closer than ever to a free Palestine. And so people will ask me like, well, then what's the solution? Like, what do you see as the solution? Like, solve it. What's the solution? I'm like, you're talking to me like I'm some kind of math major. Because I did solve it. I know the solution. Okay, I solved it many years ago using linear equations. Okay, I'm kidding. They're quadratic. Purple group.
Purple group.
But yeah, no, I mean, I know the solution. I just don't think the world is ready. Man. You know, it takes a lot of open-mindedness and empathy for this solution to actually work. You know, but you know, we're in Hawaii, so fuck it. I'll tell you guys. You guys, Hawaii, you guys are cool. So you get it. Okay, here's how it works. Right, we know that when it comes to Israel-Palestine, there's been two classic solutions that have been pulled forth. And there's support for them and there's resistance to them. So like when people say two-state solution, a lot of people get upset. When people say one-state solution, a lot of people get upset. A lot of people say one-state solution. They have different states in mind. So I've crunched the numbers and I realized the only way forward is to literally piss everyone off. I'm going with a three-state solution. Three states. Three states. It's not a 1 or a 2, it's not binary 3, okay? And here's how it works, okay? We all know there needs to be a free Palestine, okay? We know this. This is why the conflict has drawn on for so long. The Palestinians just want a home, okay? So let's make a Palestinian state. Let's make a Palestine. It's called Palestine, okay? It's the native way of saying it, but you know, Americans will pronounce it Palestine. Well, that'll be step 1. We'll call it Palestine. And Palestinian state is step 1. So once we have a Palestinian state, we will effectively have 2 states. This is what a lot of people do not want. So immediately, we will insert a 3rd state right in the middle, where black people can reclaim their land. We'll call it Wakanda. We'll call it Wakanda.
Wakanda forever.
You know what I'm talking about. And Wakanda will be the dream state. Wakanda will be, it'll be a fully black-owned business and country. And once Wakanda is established, outside of Wakanda, we'll build what's called a Greater Wakanda. Okay? And in Greater Wakanda, any human being can go live with equal rights. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, your background. You can go live with equal rights, but like for real, for real. Okay? It'll be the dream state that we've always wanted to build as human beings. And so the more people that pick up and go live in Wakanda, we will write it in the state's constitution that Wakanda will be allowed to grow. So the more people who go live and want to live harmoniously, they'll be allowed to grow. And it'll just start to absorb more people who want to live harmoniously. Nobody will lose their homes or their land. It'll just absorb people who want to live harmoniously and share land and live together peacefully. It'll grow, it'll grow, it'll grow, it'll grow, it'll grow like our hearts, to the point where it may even surpass the boundaries of that region and start to encompass the whole entire world. At which point, we'll realize, hey, we're all just humans. There should be no boundaries between us. We should all be living side by side in peace, equality, and love. Under black leadership. Like, that's probably what So I got the slogan, it's Wakanda forever. And I'm going to get some copyright issues, but I call it the 3-state solution, and I think it's pretty solid, okay, because it covers all the bases, and it achieves the eventual outcome that we want, which is actual peace and harmony amongst human beings. So I call it the 3-state solution. I think it's solid, and it's also fluid too, because the state's going to grow. It's like fluid, you know what I mean? So it's solid and it's fluid, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And people there are going to be eating a lot of hummus beans, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to get a little gaseous, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's solid, it's fluid, it's gaseous. It's a 3-state solution.
Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever. You got it. Got it. So, you know, that's good. This is great. This show already went way better than Maui. Nobody in the front row walked out. It's amazing.
Can I leave now?
It is a weeknight, though. I know, you know. You guys do have bedtimes here. I do know people in Hawaii tend to go to bed a little earlier than other places. That's good. I mean, it's good for you. Get that sleep. Get that sleep. Get that sleep. You have a busy day tomorrow. I know you do. Go on the beach and shit. I think you guys work 20-hour work weeks or whatever. But before, I only got 3 hours left, but before I finish, I always like to ask the crowd, is there anything I didn't talk about tonight that you'd like for me to talk about? Anything? Conspiracy theories. Oh, yeah. Does anybody have like a wild one for me? Anyone? The deep state? And what? Flat Earth. And, yeah, I can do that. Flat Earth and deep state. That sounds like a contradiction right there. It's like, how could there be a deep state if the Earth is flat? That's deep. Well, I believe very strongly in both of these. Well, if flat Earth is true, where are you guys on the flat Earth spectrum? Because I think Hawaii kind of fucks with the whole flat Earth thing. Because we know that you can go to Japan somewhat easily from here, and we know you can go to the mainland somewhat easily from here. So then, and it takes a fucking shit long time to get to Europe. So then where are we on the flat Earth? No, people who, I know some flat earthers, and I'm always like, what state, like, what other countries have you been to? And they're like, what, does Missouri count? I'm like, okay, so that probably answers that. Typically flat earthers, they don't, travel a lot, Which, like, if you don't travel for socioeconomic reasons, like, that's valid. Like, it's kind of just fucked up to be like, okay, you're a flat earther because you're too poor to fly, Like, that's fucked up. But also happens to be true sometimes. So a lot of flat earthers just, they have not really traveled. So I would like to start a fund to like get flat earthers out there, get them flying. Because also, like, when you're in a plane, you can see like the slight curvature of the Earth. You're like, that can't continue forever if this is a flat Earth. The water's gonna be dripping off at some point. So if you have a flat earther plan, a flat earther friend, the best thing you do is get him a plane ticket. Get him a plane ticket to somewhere far. One way. I have heard though. I mean, I've seen some videos and stuff about us being surrounded by Antarctica, and if you pass through Antarctica, then you get to like the other world. But I think you can also just go around Antarctica and realize that you can, because people say their argument is that Antarctica surrounds us because if you flatten the globe, Antarctica is like around all the edges, and then if you go past Antarctica, which you're not allowed to because people aren't allowed to go through Antarctica because it's frozen. I think it's nature not letting you go through Antarctica. But you could also just take a boat all the way around Antarctica and be like, oh yeah, it is around. The deep state. The deep state. That one I do believe. I mean, the deep state. The deep state is. The deep state is. When people talk about it, they make it more sinister than it actually is. Like they're actually. What's that? The CIA. Well, they're pretty fucking wild. The CIA has done some fucking crazy shit, but they're also like, it's all about people, right? It comes down to like there's people in an organization, and a lot of people have good intentions, but they end up working for a machine that ultimately does us harm somehow. So the CIA is like that, and that the whole concept of the deep state is that like the government is the bureaucracy of the government and the machine that the government has created is being used to control us and do harm to us. But I don't think it's that sinister. I just think there's a bunch of people who are getting paid, and they're like, well, these checks are pretty sweet, so I work for the deep state. But ultimately, it is true. I mean, I do think there is a deep state. I just don't think that the people who are in this deep state know that they're in the deep state. I would say get them on a plane too, you know, give them a vacation. If you have any friend who works for the deep state, connect them with your flat earther friend. That's actually, that's really that's how you would actually solve a lot of things. Connect your deep state friends with your flat earther friends and just see what happens, you know. Be some good synergy. Anybody else have like a wild conspiracy theory? Anything. Super wild. That the ocean leads to space. That's what you heard? Shit. Who told you that? A flat earther, of course. Well, yeah, because that's the whole thing. It's like you eventually fall off the edge of the earth into space. The ocean will take you to space, but like which direction? Down or up? Like if you go into the ocean, if you like go, so you go down to the bottom, and it's so dark down there that you're like, well, I'm in outer space right now, dude. I can't see shit. And a lot of these creatures down here look like aliens. Yeah, I've not heard that one, but shit. Whoever told you that, I want what they're on. You know? Who knows? I mean, the bottom of the ocean is you know one of the biggest mysteries. One of the biggest mysteries out there. And who knows? There may be certain parts of the ocean where you know you can have what? Huh? That's a big clue in our conspiracy theory right here. NASA started as an ocean company. How'd they end up in space? Think about that. Yeah. Got a little suspicious, don't you think? Right? NASA's like, yeah, we love the ocean. We're the national. What they used to be called? They didn't be called. They weren't called NASA. I'm assuming they were probably called NOSO or something. National Ocean Study. Ocean. Study ocean and shit. NOSOs. Studying oceans and shit. And they were down there in the ocean, and then one day they found a portal. Like, guess we're in space now. Better change the name to NASA. Damn, I gotta look into that. What else? What else do you want me to talk about? Math jokes. Okay, yeah. A couple? That means two, at least? Holy shit. Usually people come to the comedy shows, there's a 2-drink minimum. You just hit me with a 2-joke minimum right there. You're like, you better have at least 2 math jokes. Because I only fuck with math jokes in even numbers. What? That's fucking crazy. Better give you an ordered pair, you know what I mean? They're not gonna do well here. But, basically, you want me to bomb. You want me to do jokes, math jokes for you? Yeah, I can do that. Can you give me a subject in math you want me to talk about? Calculus? Yeah, it's good. I love calculus. Make some noise if you like calculus. Woo! So 3 and 4 of us, 5 of us. Well, that increased. That kept increasing. Yeah. Calculus. People who like calculus, what's your favorite thing about calculus? Favorite part about it? Derivatives? Fuck yeah, let's talk about derivatives. Yeah, a lot of you tried to forget about derivatives. Or a lot of you didn't try, you just forgot. Because your brain is in decline. Because its derivative is negative. The derivative is basically, the derivative of a function is basically, you're finding the slope of that function, the slope of the curve at any given point in time. It's actually kind of cool. The derivative can tell you what the slope's going to be like when the function is at x equals 3 or when it's at x equals 4. And derivatives can therefore tell you when your function is going to hit a maximum or a minimum, right? Because when your function is going up, the derivative is positive, okay? And then when it's going down, the derivative is negative, right? So then you know when the derivative hits 0, it's a peak.
Yes.
Right? Hell yeah, that's the fucking response. See, that's you know how easier this show would be if that was the vibe. You guys like, oh yeah!
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever. Fuck yeah. If only we could have that same love for everything. But, well, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if you ever feel like you've hit rock bottom, check your first derivative. If it's not equal to 0, you're still going down. Trying to make this relatable.
Him. You get it.
Thoughts on the debate? Were you not here for the first? You just come late. You want more pets? More about the pet. Well, yeah, I watched the whole thing. I was driving, but me and Jai we just landed. We flew in from Maui. We just landed, and then there was an issue with the rental car, and I was like at the rental car counter, but also watching the debate. And I realized like people were around me, and I had it like cranked up really loud. Like nobody seemed very interested. They were just like, "Who are these people, and what are they talking about?" I was like, "There is a land across the ocean, which we are living under their jurisdiction and paying taxes. And these are the two people looking to rule over us." And we're like, "Oh, this is very interesting. Maybe I will go to outer space by going into the ocean." And yeah, I mean, it was not what I expected, to be honest. I thought Kamala was going to be more nervous, and because Kamala, she just finally did an interview like 2 weeks ago. She doesn't do podcasts. Like, bro, you need to do podcasts. Where Trump is like talking like 25 hours a day. He's like going to rallies and telling like fairy tales. And he's like all improv. Like he's all improv. Where like Kamala has like a team of like hundreds, maybe thousands of people who are like telling her every word to like hit and not hit. And Trump, like, they can't get him to remember a single fucking word. So that was the interesting juxtaposition of these two people. It was Kamala, who, you know, again, I'm not a fan of Kamala, but she does a very good job of executing her script in a way that people. She was smiling the whole fucking time too. She's like talking about like Donald. You can't abort a baby at 10 months. So I'll say from an execution standpoint, I think Kamala, why is that funny? From an execution, a public execution standpoint. From an execution standpoint, Kamala, I think she did what whoever's prepping her suggested she do. I think she carried it out, and I'm sure whatever Trump's team was like, oh, we're not gonna fucking tell you. They're like, listen, Trump, whatever you do, don't say they're killing the pet, whatever. You know, just say, just do you. Just, yeah, full on, just say they're eating the pets. Go ahead, do that. Fuck it, go ahead. Like, no one can control that guy. And so yeah, Trump. You know, I need to watch how the experts, because like there's people who like really study this shit for a living, and their insight's very good, and they see things that I don't necessarily see. Like I was watching a lot of experts, like Trump fell for a lot of like baits that Kamala gave. I don't know what baits they're talking about. I'll have to like watch, but like when you think about it in retrospect, like yeah, he did fall into a lot of traps in the sense that like she answered the questions. And then she like would say very provocative things to him so that he went on a whole fucking crazy tangent and didn't answer whatever question they were asking. I think one question that Kamala couldn't answer is, I think they asked her, Kamala, are Americans better off now than they were 4 years ago? And she couldn't answer that, which it's kind of an easy question to answer. Just be like, yes. Everyone is doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm doing well. The weather's been very nice lately. I don't think any complain about that. So that, and there was when they started doing the foreign policy stuff, and Trump's whole thing is like, oh, Kamala hates Israel, and it's like you're talking about somebody who works for AIPAC, already says that she's going to give Israel everything they want. And then Trump's whole thing is like, yeah, if you vote for the Democrats, Israel's not going to exist in 3 years. I'm like, buddy, you don't know you're giving her a lot of voters. You probably want to. And then he's like, the whole region's going to blow up. He's like, everybody's going to blow up if you elect the Democrats. And I'm like, he may not be wrong, but yeah, that was like, it's always like whoever can prove that they love Israel the most wins the debate. But yeah, I think he lost on abortion because Trump. That's Trump's biggest weakest point in this whole election is abortion. Is that the majority of people are pro-choice in the United States. That's an actual stat. And the people who are pro-life, they're not, or a lot of people who are pro-life are not as aggressively interested in that issue as they are other issues. So all Trump has when it comes to abortion is he talks about late-stage abortion, and it really shot him in the face. Sorry, that's bad analogy. Because he used it so much in this one, where he's like, women are they're aborting 10 months in, Kamala's like, that's not possible, Trump. She fucking really called him out on that one. So that was a loss for him. And then Trump's strongest thing is for immigration. There's a lot of people in this country who think there's too many immigrants, even fucking immigrants. Talk to, dude, yeah. When you actually talk to immigrants, they fucking hate other immigrants, dude. It's there's a lot of pro-Trump immigrants because they're like, no more. So really, all Trump had to do was sensibly carry the immigration question, but the moment he talked about eating pets, he kind of fumbled that pretty fucking hard. And really, where the place where I think it's easiest to see through the Democrats' bullshit was on foreign policy. When Kamala, when Trump straight up, he's like, I don't like war. He said this, he fucking stole my joke. He was like, I don't like war. I don't want to see people die. And it's like, but he's already losing, right? So you're like, now what is Kamala gonna say to this that's gonna continue to make her win the debate? And she's like, we've sent tanks and weapons to Ukraine, and that's making things better. And no, that's bad. You don't want to keep a war going. That's bad. But she was already winning the debate so much that for some reason that looked good. And that's why I feel like anybody who watched it, who doesn't really follow foreign policy or doesn't really see through the Democrats' bullshit, it's like Trump was so easy to defeat. I think the best tweet that I saw was Kamala aborted a baby in its 78th year. That's probably the best tweet I saw. He got slaughtered. I was really not expecting that. But yeah, it's still early. The vice presidential debate is coming up. That one's gonna be fun because J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, they both talk a lot of shit. So that's gonna be a fun one to watch. So that's my analysis so far.
Talk about Hawaiian sovereignty and free Palestine.
Hawaiian sovereignty and a free Palestine. Yep, free Hawaii. Notice how only 10 people were down with that. But listen, You know, I need to be educated more on this issue because definitely understand it, definitely understand the history. I just don't know how big the movement is here in Hawaii. Like, do you have a lot of support for this? And what do you call the movement? Free Hawaii? You don't have a name for it. You don't have a name for it. What's that? Sovereignty? Oh, I thought you could borrow this from like the Free Palestine movement, but Aloha Akbar.
Aloha Akbar.
Yeah, I thought of that today. It's been sitting there, nobody's taking it.
Aliens and Space Force.
Yeah? Aliens and Space Wars?
Force.
Space Force?
Yeah.
Space Force?
Yeah.
You say Space Force or Space Wars?
Force.
Space Force. Yeah, I mean, let's jump into the ocean and find out, right? Who thinks aliens are real?
Woo!
Oh, not a lot of believers out here. This is pretty down to earth. Who thinks definitively aliens are not real? Okay. Who does not participate in my surveys? That should be 90% of you. I guess, nobody wants to be known as the alien freak, and nobody wants to be known as the non-believer. Yeah, I think they're real, right? I think they're real. There's whistleblowers. Yeah. Yeah, last year, wasn't this last year when there was a hearing and they were talking about the spacecraft and they're like, were these humans in these things? Because like they were non-human biologics. Right? This was like a year ago, wasn't it? It was like exactly a year ago, and then everything broke out in Palestine.
Gosh.
Fucking deep state, dude. Wow. That's how much they didn't want us to know about the aliens.
So true.
Crazy.
And the Lahaina fires.
Was that?
The Lahaina fires.
Lahaina fires. Lahaina fires.
All of the water.
Yeah, that was. It reminded me, and that was also a year ago too. They were caused by a malfunction of a state-owned thing, or we don't know. We don't know. Allegedly, we don't know. Allegedly.
One
It
close.
was like some kind of like emergency response thing, or there was supposed to be some emergency thing that was supposed to help stop the fires, but it didn't go off. Can somebody help me? The sirens did go off, or they didn't go off. They did not go off, and they were supposed to go off. And why did they not go off? The deep state. It all comes back to the deep state.
The deep state.
Because what? The corporations want to take the land, and so, oh shit. Shit. Dude, Hawaii is good real estate. Now Lahaina's beautiful. Lahaina's absolutely beautiful. So it's like, so basically, the deep state.
Yeah, and the
Turn the
electrical
camera off, by the
company
way.
helped
The deep state.
them
They shut off the sirens
and
and the water.
HECO,
Really, the water wasn't working. It wasn't flowing,
they divert.
and they divided it the wrong ways.
Be here when people are
To let the
discussing
water,
about
yeah,
this person.
because also.
And
when I heard
HECO,
behind fires, I was a little bit
HECO.
shocked, because I
I'm
understand that
tired too.
Electrical
with
company.
some climate change, things have been a little drier lately, but still, like Hawaii is a very lush, like moist. It's not dry like California. Like California is dry as fuck, but like Hawaii, respectfully, harder to burn. Okay, I'm not trying to burn you. I'm just saying,
not true.
if I were to burn a place, I wouldn't choose Hawaii. I'd be like, what a waste of fucking time. Unless the deep state, on what? On the Kona side. On the Kona side. The west side. Because from the northeast and it dries out. So you're telling me if I want to burn Hawaii, start from the west. Yeah, that's why they have the hotels there, so they burn? What? Because it's hot. It's so dry. People just want to go to the beach because it's hot. No, I've been to Lahaina. I did the tourist shit. It was okay. It was definitely more relatively dry than like say like Haiku, where I stay with my family. But still, like California, like you walk around like it's this time of year and it's just like crunch, 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 crunch. It's just like one match, the whole state's fucking gone, dude.
It's true.
But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and I know the government did not do a lot to help out the people who lost homes in the fires. Fucked up. Absolutely fucked up. Thanks for bringing us here, and geez. Anything happy do you want to talk about? Fuck.
Have you heard of Operation
Talk about food? That's good. Food. Pets are very good food. I eat pets. What do you say? Tomorrow's 9/11.
Tired.
Yes.
Don't make
To
me
go
laugh.
surf.
Don't make me laugh. That's so
Are you
fucked
gonna
up.
surf?
That's
Yeah,
so
I want to
fucked
go
up.
surf tomorrow morning. It's a great day of surfing.
Dude, can I ask where your family's from? Nice save. Mine too. Yeah, we
Want to
got
go
two
home?
Californians over here.
Okay, let's go.
I'll
Not
stay.
sus at all.
I'll stay with Gisela. Can you drop me?
Yeah, 9/11 is
Because
tomorrow.
he wants to go.
It's
What?
It's 9/11.
Go.
It's actually 9/11 already in the States. It's already 9/11. It's 9/11 somewhere, that's what I was saying. Was that? Was that?
Yeah, I need to go home.
He's tired.
Huh?
Laughing. Go shower.
Wait, what? Wait, what do you say? I don't understand what's going on. Oh, you're being sarcastic.
Yam, what are you doing?
Go with Dad.
Oh, well, I said in the States. That was it.
Gisela.
He's done
Oh,
soon
but I
anyway.
meant, but I meant like
He's
in
done
their
soon,
states
but I want to go to bed.
where it is already 9/11
Huh?
because time zones.
Okay. I cannot wait more.
Right?
Okay. See you.
Right? Because if I said
See you
it's
at home,
9/11 in
okay?
the mainland, I would be lying because California is still not 9/11, it's still 9/10. But there are states in which it is 9/11. The East Coast, exactly.
What about the 5 dancing Israelis on 9/11?
What about the what?
5 dancing Israelis.
5 dancing Israelis on 9/11? I haven't heard this one. There was 5 only? Where were they dancing?
A woman from her rooftop had binoculars and saw 5 Israelis watching the towers burn and cheering and dancing. You can Google it. Just
I will. It's just such a specific thing to see. Like, so I busted out my binoculars and I looked over and it was 5 Israelis. Well, how'd you know they were Israelis? Because they had the flag at their little rooftop party. Yeah, I mean it's that versus Trump saying he saw the Muslims celebrating in their Jersey apartment. You know, I've heard a lot of stories of hearing about people celebrate on 9/11 during 9/11. How did we fucking end up here? Why do you guys keep taking me back somewhere? Well, I think we're at the end of the Earth here. I think we literally found where ocean meets space. And is there any final requests before I wrap up this show? JD Vance and the Cat Ladies. So JD Vance, his weird thing is he wants people to be rewarded if they have children. Just like the weirdest like Republican take I've ever heard. Which is like he's suggesting like tax breaks for people with kids and like special benefits with people with kids. Like that's called welfare. But I think it's kind of fucked up. I mean, as a kidless person, you know, I feel like great. If you have kids, great. But like, you know, I feel like I should be getting kind of a subsidy for not putting out these little carbon footprints. You know what I mean? And I have a cat at home, so I'm a crazy cat lady. And so I definitely feel directly attacked by that. But also, JD Vance is like, he's a fucking. Nobody even knows why Trump picked. I mean, I know why Trump picked him. Some people know why Trump picked him. He's not even like Republicans don't even like him. He's not even gonna help the election. Trump picked JD Vance because a long time ago, when somebody interviewed JD Vance and they said, "What would you have done if you were in Mike Pence's position when Trump wanted Mike Pence to overturn the election in 2020?" JD Vance was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I would have done it." And then Trump was like, "That's my guy. I don't care if he's fucked the couch. Just full on elevated as the vice president." Dude, I saw a video of JD Vance going into a donut shop. Did you see that? Yeah. That was hilarious. He went in, the lady who worked there had no idea who the fuck he was. But he's like, "I'm running for vice president. You can just put a bunch of donuts, we'll take whatever." And the lady was like, "I don't want to be filmed." He's like, "All right, we'll edit you out. Yeah, you can get me in that bear claw there, that'd be great." So embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Anybody else want 9/11 jokes? Okay. You have a question? What's that?
I'll just say, are you familiar with first past the post voting systems?
What is it called?
First past the post voting system?
First past the post. No, I've never heard of that. Tell us about it.
So it's like how we do our majority takes all here in the United States, but in European countries like Scandinavia, countries in that area, they do mixed representative based on proportions. So like if 5% of the constituents vote for the Green Party, then 5% of the parliament would be
Yeah. Yeah. Are you from Canada?
no.
Thank God. Because I do like that aspect of Canadian politics, but their system in totality right now is also very fucked up. They're basically stuck with dictator Trudeau, and they complain about it a lot whenever I go there. But that is definitely better. Being, having a proportional representation in our Congress of whatever parties people are voting for, because like
Fall asleep?
what our
No.
United States
It's just
breakdown is,
get
but
it
like probably like
placed.
5%
No,
would
no,
vote like
use
Green
this.
Party.
I'm on the break.
That could have representation finally in Congress and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. So 2036. 2036. I will push. My campaign will be for the crazy cat lady. So yeah, I will, because by 2036 it's going to be like the mostly crazy cat ladies. That's the direction our nation is heading. So yeah, we'll do that.
Do you think Arab Americans are going to change this election?
Do I think Arab Americans are going to change this election? We could. Depends on how crazy you want to get. Depends on what you want to do. Somebody just asked me 5 minutes ago, 9/11's tomorrow. I think proportionally, someone say, somebody really hates the 9/11 reference back then. Jeez. Sorry that I was blamed for fucking 20 years, can't make a fucking joke about it. Seriously, dude. Seriously, no, I mean, like, listen, we're from the United States. Like, a lot of fucking traumatic shit has happened to our fucking country. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't make a Pearl Harbor joke. That happened right fucking next door. People make fucking Hiroshima jokes. People make fucking Holocaust jokes. I'm gonna make a fucking 9/11 joke, dude. Seriously. You know what's fucked up about 9/11? Is that Google will always tell you what any number divided by another number is except 9/11. Like if you put in 8/4, Google will say 2. but if you put 9 over 11, it'll give you a bunch of fucking articles.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
Holy shit.
Yes, 9/11 was a tragedy, like many tragedies, like the Titanic. It's 2024, so 9/11 was 23 years ago? Fucking, dude, don't you think in 1930, somebody's like, oh, Titanic jokes, ha 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 ha. Yeah, like school shootings, we're not just trying to fucking go down a... Joke about white people? I don't do that, that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the tan line.
How can we get none of the above as a choice and like ballot for the presidential election?
Well, sadly by not showing up, but you know, I tell people this, like if you don't like the two options and you can live with the other option that you like less, then vote third party. Vote third party. The more people vote third party, the more it will send a signal to the establishment that this two-party system has to either change or listen to the people more, because it's not doing that. It's corporate bought, it's donor bought, it's serves the rich. It always serves the rich. You know, people always think like, oh, you know, the Republicans serve the rich. The Democrats serve the rich too. They're bought by big banks. So, yeah, I would say vote third party if you can tolerate the other option. You know, and I know it's tough. Listen, I live in California where you can vote for a fucking dead ferret and it's gonna be blue no matter who. You know what I mean? And I'm not a woman. I know, like, you know, when it comes to Republicans, there's a lot of thing about women's bodies, and I'm pro-choice. And I tell ladies like I'm pro-choice, like so much so that if I get you pregnant, it's yours. You know what I mean? So I'm coming from a place of privilege, and like, yeah, I did live with the pet here for a couple of years to fucking prove a point.
Petty.
What do you think of Tim Walz?
Tim Walz, he's fun. I mean, he's a former teacher, so like you know, as a former teacher, to me, it's like just like a, you know, like military connection. Like, thank you for your service. You know what I mean? Like, teaching's fucking hard, dude. Like, we see battle.
We've seen battle.
So yeah, I respect him for being a teacher. I mean, I probably don't agree with a lot of things he goes for, and he's, you know, I've heard some of his remarks about Israel stuff. Not fully on board with that, but of all of the people that Kamala could have picked, you know, he's not the worst. So I think he's cute. I'll ask him to prom. All right, I gotta wrap this up, guys. We have a good time tonight. You know, love Honolulu. I'll come back. I tell people, I come back. You know, there's certain cities that I'll come back to once every 5 years. There's certain cities that I'll come back to once a year. Honolulu's twice a year for me. So, and we'll always get a new set. I won't repeat I may repeat a joke or two, but we'll basically have a new set every time. And the best way to know when I'll come back to Honolulu is to get on my text list. So if you want to pull out a phone real quick, I'll give you a number to text. It'll give you 3 reasons why if you're skeptical. Reason number 1 is you'll get first dibs on tickets. Reason number 2 is I won't spam you. I'll only text you when I'm coming to Honolulu unless you send me something provocative. I say I won't spam you. You guys love spam here. What the fuck am I talking about? But
I'll send it to you.
I will spam you then. And then if you text me now, you get a link to my merch store. You get all my merch items. I also have some shirts here for sale in the back. Chai is back there. I got Your Power Watermelon shirts. I got stickers that say SJJ. Some say Math Addict. My presidential campaign sticker, Obey 2036. A lot of stuff. Here is the number. It is 208-650-7774. Once again, that's 208-650-7774. And yeah, we're not connected via text. All right. Yeah, thank you for coming to the show. I just hit 17 years in comedy.
Woo!
17 years old in comedy. Prime member. My friend was like, damn, 17 years, why aren't you famous? I'm like, well, it's a choice, obviously. It's my 17-year plan. To be learning that at the bottom of the ocean you find space. My friend was like, Sandy, you're a good comedian, but don't you want to be great? I was like, no, I just want to be good. Being good is so much easier to maintain. We're living in an era where everyone wants to be great, right? See these kids on TikTok, I'm gonna be the greatest of all time. Like of all time, you've been around 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna be the GOAT. The GOAT? My family's from the Middle East. We eat goat, you know what I mean? Want to be the GOAT, we'll eat your ass. It's not dirty, but you know what I mean? Aloha Akbar, you know what I mean?
Aloha Akbar.
What I'm saying is, stop trying to be great. Too many people are trying to be great. Being great is so self-centered. It's like, look at me, validate my greatness. It's like, no, how about you just be good? Be good to others. Be good to the world around you, and great things will come to you. Be good. Because being great is not even sustainable. If you're great, and the next time people see you, and you're just good, okay? But you're still good. Good is good, but you've fallen from great, so now you're mid. Yeah. But if you're good, and then you're good, and then you're good, you're good. I don't want to be Alexander the Great. I want to be Sammy the Good. I'm not doing this to be great. I'm doing it for the greater good. Okay? And I'm going to be the GOAT, the goodest of all time. And I'm running for president in 2036. I'm going to make America good again. Thank you so much, Honolulu. Thanks for coming out. I love you guys.
Make some noise for Sammy, everybody. Keep it going for his opener tomorrow in the back. Oh man, you guys had fun tonight? Hell yeah. You guys don't have to leave because after the show, there's always an open mic. Stick around, buy some food, buy some merch in the back. It's gonna be a good time. Let me also make some noise for your opener of the Are you doing it? They didn't tell me her name. Make some noise for Carly, everybody.